Going to car shows has always been a fun experience for me. I went to the 2025 St. Louis Auto Show this past weekend, and I was astonished at how much the show had grown over the past couple of years I've attended it. However, it also reminded me just how much other auto shows are shrinking and that maybe it's time we fix that. Hi there, I'm Corey Bexton, and welcome to the automotive world. The STL Auto Show is one of the largest annual events in the city of the Gateway Arch, and maybe one of the biggest in the state of Missouri. It's never been as big as the other auto shows like the ones in Detroit, Chicago, LA, or even overseas, but for the average Missourian or anyone else in close proximity to St. Louis, it's a closer destination to see some of the latest cars, trucks, and SUVs of the auto industry. And as you might expect, most of the usual car makers will show up with their own models. And since it's an interesting time in the car industry right now, with hybrids and EVs being pretty much commonplace in the world right now, you'd be right to assume that there's a lot to show off from these car makers. Let's take a look at some of these. For Toyota, it means showing off variants of its latest hybrid technology, ranging from the now hybrid-only Toyota Camry and Land Cruiser to the 4Runner SUV and the Tacoma pickup. Pretty much all those have hybrids now, and you gotta tell all these people because some of these are like some of the most popular selling vehicles in the entire car market right now. General Motors also has a significant amount of cars that are brand new, specifically electric vehicles. The brand has taken they've taken some very aggressive strides in going all in on EVs, with some of their newest releases being the Cadillac Escalade IQ, the GMC Hummer EV, and the GMC Sierra EV, which has probably the most amount of lights on the front of a car I've ever seen. And it's practically a big light-up Jumbotron over here up front. Like, they outlined the grille and all that, and the GMC logo and all that, with the, what I like to call the question mark headlight. I mean, it is a question mark. Like, that looks like a question mark. That being said, my favorite GM product there would have probably had to have been the CT5V Blackwing. I mean, with 660 horsepower coming from a supercharged V8 and an optional 6-speed manual, what's not to love? And it's not just GM bringing their game with new EVs at this year's show, with other brands like Hyundai and VW bringing cars like the new Hyundai Ioniq 9 and the new Volkswagen ID Buzz to the show. And of course, no one can have an EV conversation without mentioning Tesla. I've been to the STL car show for 3 years in a row now, and this is the first show I've been to where Tesla officially showed up. And most of you are probably wondering, hey Corey, what's your opinion on the Cybertruck? And while I understand why people like it, my take is it's not for me. If you want a Tesla, I'd probably point you in the direction of a Model 3 instead. That being said, the only other EV that this year that is nearly as controversial as the Cybertruck would probably have to be the Dodge Charger Daytona, which is an all-electric muscle car. So the whole thing is the Charger is now taking up it's taken up what the Challenger used to be. So this is not a Challenger, this is a Charger, and they're going to be making a 2-door, which we see here, and then a 4-door, which is going to come later. And they're going to stick a Hurricane 6-cylinder under the hood, 3-liter inline 6. With twin turbos, and basically the whole gimmick about this car is that to basically make up for the lack of the V8, they're going to stick a fake exhaust under here. That's right, an EV with exhaust. It comes out of there. They call it the Fratzonic chambered exhaust, and basically it's kind of like a megaphone inside of the electric motor that's going to be amplifying the little whirring noise that those EV motors make, and they're going to make noise. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I actually don't know how I feel about that. Bit of the look at the side view. Sorry here. Get doors the size of a battleship in here. Actually, no, the car is the battleship. But basically, you've got pretty much a LED light show in here. I have to tone down the lighting a little bit, probably. All along here. Probably gonna close the door. Get my stuff in here. All along in here, it's just LEDs. Pistol grip shifter down there. Glad they're keeping a physical shifter in there, and that's where you turn on your Fratzonic chambered exhaust. And to the folks that are asking, well, what the heck does Fratzonic mean? I don't know. And actually Dodge doesn't really know either. They actually have come out and said, we have no idea why we came up with this name. We just stuck with it. And yeah, that's kind of the story, or lack thereof, of how that came out. So, infotainment there, controls right there. It's actually kind of a nice place despite all of the LEDs, but anyways, why don't we pop out, press the button there, and then we'll get out maybe. So this one's a Scat Pack, and basically it's the more powerful of the two. So you have the little brother, which is the RT, which makes 490 horsepower, and then this one, which produces 670 horsepower. Now this one apparently has a stage 2 from direct connection, as they say here, and that actually supposedly bumps up the horsepower a little bit. I don't quite know how much. People are quite sad to hear that Dodge's legendary Hemi V8 is being phased out of their iconic muscle cars, but why listen to a fake EV exhaust when you could listen to real V8's roar and slide around the STL Auto Show's drifting show? Now, I've never been to the Detroit or Chicago Auto Show before, but I've never heard of anyone else besides St. Louis doing a drift show. The Saturday I went, the crowd and I were graced with the presence of drifting legends like Ben Hobson, Luke Fink, and Vaughn Gittin Jr., who is a legend in Formula Drift.
All right, here we go. Back out of the track on this St. Louis Auto Show.
Even as your face gets covered with tire smoke, dirt, and rubber, this has to be the best part about coming to the St. Louis Car Show. Anyway, let's get back into the noise.
Make some noise for him, Ben Hobson. That's on a Mustang RTR Spec 5. By the way, the AutoZone Mustang RTR Spec 5. That is all the way from Australia, Luke Fink. demo of the day. We'll be back here at 4 o'clock tomorrow. Again, high noon, 4 o'clock tomorrow. I'll be here at the 12 o'clock, then I gotta fly home. So again, you'll see Luke.
It's no secret now that auto shows across the world have been shrinking and shrinking by the year. Some have even been closing their doors entirely in favor of online auto shows. That being said, something else I find sad is how much some of the legacy auto shows themselves, like the actual shows, have been shrinking too. I mean, it's pretty shocking to hear that even like a mainstream car brand like Nissan didn't even show up to a big show like the Detroit Auto Show this year. They didn't show up in Detroit, but they did show up in St. Louis, and it almost makes St. Louis look like the bigger show, which makes me realize just how much the Detroit show is failing. Lots of other auto shows have said they will phase out in-person shows in favor of online virtual events, and let me just say, I would absolutely hate to see this happen. I think I speak for a lot of other car enthusiasts out there when I say that the best way to experience cars and car culture is to see them in person, to sit behind the driver's seat and get a close-hand feel of what it's like. Now, lots of other car shows have said they will phase out in-person events in favor of virtual ones. And let me just say, I don't want to see that happen. Because I think I speak for a lot of other car enthusiasts whenever I say that the best way to experience cars is to be up close and personal, to get the in-person experience, and watching them from online really doesn't give you the same experience. Coming to shows like St. Louis remind me why I'm a car enthusiast and why I'm truly passionate for these mechanical marvels. Getting to meet all sorts of new people who share my passion is actually really what all these shows are about. It's not about the cars, it's about the people you meet. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe understood some of my concerns for the future of the auto show scene. Please share the word, because people like you are the reason why I make videos like these. This isn't the last video I intend to make, so please subscribe if you want more automotive content like this. Have a great one and enjoy the drive.